Hello, everybody, and welcome to the January 2022 update of the Disneyland Magical Audio Tour. And I'm so happy, after a 2-month sabbatical, Brian has returned to join me on this episode. Hello, Brian.
I'm back and ready to go. Yeah, thanks for having me back. Yeah, and this will be nice for me because I was personal. This will be nice for me because I really haven't been paying too much attention to what you've been adding to the site. So
yeah, Brian's been away and he's been extremely busy, so he hasn't had much time to enjoy the site.
But yeah,
I'm gonna update you all now. Before we get to that, I'm not going to do... I was advised by a good friend who's good at giving me constructive criticism that I try to listen to. No, not you, another friend.
It was me. Oh.
That I shouldn't do as many plugs because these are updates and that's what people want, are updates. So I'm going to limit the plugs here. We're just going to talk about a couple things and then we'll get right into it. So the most important thing I need to say is Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
That's my first plug. Now my second plug is very important. As I add more and more content, it becomes more and more increasingly expensive to pay my hosting fees for the website. So every little bit that you all can contribute. It's a totally free thing that I provide to you. All our podcasts and the music and everything is completely free. So if you appreciate it and you want to contribute $1 or more a month, in return, I will send you rewards. So it's mutually beneficial. And if you want to help support us on Patreon, it's www. Don't forget the dot, Patreon, and then there's another .com/DisneyChris. Did you get that?
Yeah, you could probably just type in patreon.com/DisneyChris and forget about the
nowadays
part, that'll get
automatic.
You there.
Yes.
I'm going to look up and see how you're doing. I haven't even checked Patreon in a while.
So the other thing is also a way to help support us and mutually beneficial because in return you get some cool merch. We have 2 designs. We have the compass design, which is sort of a logo for the Disneyland Magical Audio Tour, and then we have a logo for our Dateline Jiminy Crickets podcast. And you could get it on a notebook, a t-shirt, a mug, an electric guitar, a laptop computer. No, those are stickers. I'm just kidding. You can get stickers and put them on your laptop or your electric guitar. There's no electric guitars for sale. Beach towels are, though.
Oh, darn.
And water bottles.
Yeah.
But no electric guitars. Sorry.
Beach
Not
day.
yet. Maybe in the future. We'll see. And to get to the
hey,
store... yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go. jcpodcast.threadless.com.
And don't forget, there's 2 dots. jcpodcast.threadless.com. Never forget the dots. What were you saying?
Okay, Donnie.
I'm being weird. Sorry.
Just saying a little bit about Patreon. We have 32 patrons right now. Let's try to get to 35 after this update. If you're on the fence...
50. High limited.
50. Well, lofty. Very lofty goal. But
hey,
yeah.
That's what goals are meant for.
Join me. I'm a Patreon subscriber. I donate negative $5 a month.
So the last thing I want to mention is over on my website. I just put this up today. Every year I select a song that represents the year. At the end of the year I do it. And I asked on social media what I should pick. And the overwhelming majority wanted me to pick We Don't Talk About Bruno from Encanto. So I just put that up on my website. Yeah.
I love it because, if you watched Luca, there was a character named Bruno. And then in Encanto, of course, there's Bruno. And it's just like, we don't talk about Bruno.
There's also in Cinderella a Bruno. So
yeah.
The
there's
dog.
Brunos everywhere, so we don't talk about them. We don't talk about Bruno, no.
So, are you ready for the big update?
Cause there's something really funny about that song. Like, there's the one guy with the curly hair that sings it.
Yeah.
And the way they animated him shaking his rear is just amazing. Wow. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll take your word.
Yep. When you watch it, you'll be like, that's what Brian was talking about. And why is he watching that so closely and intently?
Again, I'll just let you say that and I won't question it. Anyway.
Okay.
So,
welcome back, Brian. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So the last time I did an update, I started to talk about the chapter which is Critter Country and Bear Country, but I only got some of it done. And so throughout December, among all the other activities going on, I'm sure you're aware there were certain activities happening in December. But I did end up getting the rest of the chapter finished. So today we're going to go through all the things I've added throughout December to the same chapter. This one's going to be a lot more about Critter Country and less about Bear Country. The stuff I added earlier was more the older stuff, so we'll talk about Splash Mountain and some other things today. So, you want to read this, Brian? Can you see it?
Sure.
A real honey of a place, Bear Country.
A real honey of a place, yeah. Bear Country and Critter Country, where we journey into lush northern pine woods to walk among the woodland critters. Here we enjoy a comical country jamboree, splash down a waterfall into a whimsical song of the Old South, and meet a lovable old bear and his many animal friends. Yeah, nicely written.
Do you know...
I like how you stuck in whimsical song of the Old South.
Well, the other thing
very subtle.
All these little blurbs that I put on the title cards for each chapter, my inspiration was Winnie the Pooh. Did I tell you this before? I think I did.
Yeah, you mentioned it several times, and on our podcast, you kind of were inspired by the way A.A. Milne writes the chapter headings. For
because every chapter is like where this happens, where this occurs. So that's sort of how I wrote all these little blurbs for each chapter. Just a little fun fact. Little DisneyChris.com trivia, in case that
Insider
ever comes up.
Info, yeah.
Yeah. So let's get to the
chapter. Never comes
chapter.
up on a trivia contest. Yeah.
Right. So here we go. Here we are in Bear Country. And, Brian, what's the first track that I need to talk about today?
We're going to start at track 46, the Bear Country Hoedown.
Okay. A lot of these are not marked as new anymore because I've already... Actually, most of them will be new. I take that back. So, this is a section on the page that represents all the different live groups that performed in Bear Country back in the day. Before Splash Mountain, there was a big open area and a lot of space in Bear Country. They would set up a little makeshift stage off to the side, and they'd have live bluegrass musicians, and they'd have square dancing and hoedowns. So there were a lot of different live musicians who participated in that. So these are all sorts of different groups that, and I'm sure there's many more, but these were the ones that sort of stood out for me. And Bear Country Hoedown is actually a little performance with the Disneyland Kids of the Kingdom dancers that they did a little square dance kind of as an intro. Kind of like they did this for a lot of shows back in the 80s. They would do a little, come out and do like a little show busy thing, and then they'd introduce the star. So that it was like the opening number for the program. So that's what this is. What's the next one, Brian? The Country Ramblers?
Right next one down, the Country Ramblers.
Is it all of them on this segment that are...
Yeah, 46 through 48. Yep, we talk about... Scroll up a bit. There you go.
So the Country Ramblers is one of those live groups that performed in the park, and I found some recordings from them. And then the Bluegrass Boys was an in-park group that
I remember these guys.
Later they became the Thunder Mountain Boys, but originally, and they play more towards Thunder Mountain now, but originally they play in Bear Country, and they were like the in-house group. And from this is what evolved into, not Crazy Kurt, what was the name?
Well, the guy that plays
Billy
the
Hill
bass
and the
in this
Hillbillies
picture is the same guy that plays the bass in Billy Hill and the Hillbillies.
Yeah, so like the members the members changed out over time, and eventually this evolved into Billy Hill and the Hillbillies. But originally they were called the Bluegrass Boys. So Danny Davis and the Nashville Brass I've had on the chapter, so we'll skip that one. But it's the same idea.
Number 50.
So number 50 is another group. All bluegrass groups. Sonny Osborne and his Sonny Mountain Boys. So you could tell from the picture what kind of music we're talking about here. And then Earl Scruggs.
And the banjo.
Earl Scruggs was actually a very famous musician on his own, but he did perform several times in Disneyland. And two other very famous bluegrass musicians, Roy Clark and Buck Trent, performed in Disneyland quite a bit. Roy Clark had a solo career, but in the beginning he sort of performed with he did a lot of duo type stuff. He also was on Hee Haw. What was the guy on Hee Haw with him? I can't remember his name. But he played with him too. Anyway.
I never watched that show much, so sorry, can't help you.
It's kind of like a Western version of Laugh-In. A lot of funny jokes and stuff.
I did see it a few times. They would all pop up out of the hay
out
bales.
Of the corn, the corn patch
or the corn?
Or whatever. Yeah. So, is 53 next?
54.
Oh, 54. So this, of course, is the full show of the Country Bear Vacation Hoedown, which I believe opened in 1986 and replaced the original Country Bear show. And it was on the site already, but I did a lot of major cleanup and made some improvements. So this is a new and improved version. So what's next, Brian? Yeah.
55 and then 56 after that. And 57.
Well, see, let me skip ahead to Tokyo because you just mentioned it. I have the audio for that as well. This is the Tokyo version.
Oh, that's the one I've seen. Okay.
And the music is, some of it is the same and some of it is different. So it's got some different songs from the American version. And of course, a lot of it, in fact, most of it, believe it or not, I mean, why would it be? But it's mostly in Japanese, but I can't figure out why, but
it's about 50-50 English.
Yeah,
Japanese.
they do have some English, and most of the attractions they kind of have both languages.
Yeah, right.
So Country Bear Vacation Hoedown demo recordings. These are just recordings that were made while the show was being produced and designed, and just like to give them ideas on what songs they could choose and different things that they could do. So these are mostly piano and just one singer who's not really a trained vocalist, but it just gives you an idea of the osmosis of the show. It's kind of interesting. And then the Country Bear Vacation Hoedown instrumental score. These are several of the songs from the show without the vocals. So you get to hear just the instruments. So that's kind of fun. So what's next, Brian?
Gonna skip on down to one of my favorite films of all time, track 61.
It's a classic. It's up there with Gone with the Wind.
It is. It's must see.
And Casablanca.
Move over, Marvel. Here come the Country Bears.
So, as you know, this movie was inspired by the Disney attraction, even though it closed 1 year before the movie came out. I don't understand it. I still don't get it. Why they were making a movie and then they closed the attraction. I mean, it's still in Florida.
I think it has a negative effect on people's perception of what the actual attraction is in the Magic Kingdom, so they don't go see it. But it's too bad.
Yeah, but I just thought I'd include this because it was part of what Country Bears is. It was inspired by it. So I just included some of the music from... Probably the music is one of the least offensive things from the film, to be quite honest. Even though I'm not a country music, I like old country, like bluegrass and old-time country, but I'm not like a modern country fan. I know a lot of people are, so that's why I included it.
I feel the same way you do about that. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this site is for everybody, so I include music for all tastes. So even though this isn't my favorite thing, a lot of people love country, so there you go. What's next?
64. We're going to talk about Song of the South here for a little bit.
Okay, so this is all sort of stuff that inspired Splash Mountain. And the first thing that I have on here is the audio from a 1956 episode of Disneyland. The TV series, not the park. Disneyland, for those who don't know, was also the name of the original anthology show before it became The Wonderful World of Color and other names over the years. So anyway, this was an episode where they showed a scene from Song of the South, but as a preamble, they did this little reenactment of the childhood of the author of the Uncle Remus stories, Joel Chandler Harris. So,
a very interesting little piece there.
You can, if you want to see the visuals to go with it, it is on YouTube. But I really did a major cleanup on the audio. The audio on YouTube is horrendous. But that's the only thing I had.
They just need to release all those on Disney Plus and
I know.
clean them for us. So, yep.
So, number 65 is actual from when the film first came out. They did some little radio shows, pre-recorded, and then they would play them, and it would seem like it was live, but it was all pre-recorded. And it had the cast, the original cast, including James Baskett, and it had Bobby...
Hattie McDaniel.
No, she wasn't on the radio show.
She wasn't on there? Oh.
No, but James Baskett was,
bummer.
And Luana Patton was, and I keep wanting to say Bobby
that little
Darin.
guy, Bobby Driscoll.
Why is Bobby Darin? Jeez whiz. And then Walt Disney was on it, and also a popular singer of the day that was actually from Georgia. And now I can't think of his name. Oh, God. A very famous performer, singer. Sorry, folks. I don't have a script in front of me. I can't... There's so many things in my brain. I can't remember it all. But a very famous singer. And he wrote a lot of famous songs back in the 40s. And he also recorded a Song of the South album. And he also was the host of these little radio promotions. There's 3 of them that I put together, and they're kind of short, so I put all 3 together. I did a lot of cleanup on these because they were from old record albums. That's how they recorded them onto vinyl. They didn't have tape recorders back then.
Yeah.
So then I have, I think, 3 different over-the-year theatrical trailers for Song of the South. This section is like about the movie, kind of. And then I have the audio from all 3 of the animated segments from Song of the South. The full thing, with cleaned up and nice and everything. And so there's 3 different stories that Uncle Remus tells. The first one's called Earning $1 a Minute. And that's the one where Brer Rabbit's in the trap, and then Brer Bear comes along, and to get out of it, he says, "I was earning $1 a minute." Remember that? And then
I was earning $1 a minute. Yeah.
I'm gonna knock his head clean off. Song of the South. This one is from the Tar Baby. And then the last one is from The Laughing Place. And to go along with it, I kind of picked pictures from Splash Mountain that kind of somehow evoke those different... Because at the beginning of Earning $1 a Minute, Brer Rabbit's running away from home. So this is him leaving home. And they don't have the tar, but he gets stuck in the honey pots in the ride. And then The Laughing Place, it involves Brer Bear getting involved with bees. So I put the bees there. Now these are all albums that were based on different Song of the South. Some from when the movie first came out, and some from later. The first one is that record I just alluded to. Does it have Johnny Mercer? That's the guy's
Johnny
name.
Mercer. I was looking up. You got it. There it is.
Johnny Mercer. Because it's right here on the picture. Can you see it? It's kind of small.
Yeah.
So he narrates this and sings the songs with the Pied Pipers. And kind of like one of those harmony groups of the 40s. Well, this is a clean copy of the audio, but not you collect the physical albums. But this is not a Disneyland record. This predated Disneyland, the label. So this was actually
Capitol released
by
quite
Capitol.
a few soundtracks for
Disney licensed
films like
licensed
So Dear
out.
to My Heart was a Capitol release.
All the older stuff before the 50s was all Capitol. So the next track, when Song of the South came out, the music was extremely popular. They're definitely earworms, all the songs. So a lot of the famous band leaders and big band singers of the day did cover versions of them. And this is a collection of several different versions of the songs, kind of in a big band jazzy style. And this is from a 1955 album called Walt Disney Song Parade, but originally the audio was taken from a little golden record, like a small little 45, and it's the story of the Laughing Place, and it's just a short little thing, and it has, all the characters with different actors doing their voices, and then this is a release, I believe, from the late 50s originally, but it got re-released over and over, and the name changed over time. But the first release was this, and it was called Stories of Uncle Remus. And it's just the 3 animated segments, and they have a narrator. James Baskett had already passed away by this point, so they had a different actor performing as Uncle Remus, and he did and it has all the music from the film, and it's a lot of fun.
It's a great album. I love that album.
Brian sent me this album because he had a nice copy of it, and I was able to restore it even further, and it sounds very good.
Yeah. Actually, that album I had was a sealed copy that I opened.
Yes,
to record
he opened
for you.
it for me, so I shout outs. And the final one in this little section is from a much later record, I think probably from the late 70s or early 80s, and it just tells one of the stories, and that it has a song at the end. You know how they used to, when Tinker Bell rings her little bell and all that. That's what this is.
Yeah, that's
one
like
of those,
See, Hear, Read series. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
See at
Fun.
the bottom of the picture it says see, hear, read. So that's what this
Oh,
is.
yeah.
And it tells the story of the tar baby. So what's next, Brian?
We're going to move over to track 81, the Splash Mountain grand opening.
Okay, so this is
Oh my gosh. Have you seen the video for this? Hilarious.
No, I never have. Of course I have. What do you
Oh, really?
So this
Okay.
is the infamous Zippity Doodah rap version that happened. Actually, the first time they did it was on a Christmas parade where they were previewing it. And then they did it again when they opened the attraction. And then it's also on the Disney Sing-Along Songs video. But it's that, when you know it is a thrill to go downhill, you know, that thing. So that's what this is. It's the grand opening dancing. And then
You were
what's
15,
next?
16 years old and thought that was the hippest, grooviest
I
stuff
was never
ever.
into that kind of music. I thought it was lame then, and I think it's lame now. But it's funny to look at it. It's sort of like campy and goofy, so that's why. That's its only saving grace.
Redeeming quality, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's next, Brian?
85, Critter Country ambient sounds and background music.
So this is the music that you're actually listening to right now, which is the area music for Splash Mountain. But I have two versions of this, and this one's a little shorter. It just has a few of the songs, but in addition to the music, I also have the song of chirping birds and squirrels and chipmunks and rustling in the trees and stuff. So it's got sort of background sounds. And what you're actually listening to is this here, track 86, which is just the music on its own without any background noise or anything. And this was the cue music. It still is the cue music for Splash Mountain. And it's also played all around. It's played all over Critter Country, but you also hear it in the cue for Splash Mountain. And this is the full version, almost 30 minutes. This is sort of an abridged version. It's just over 12 minutes. So it's only a few of the songs where this is the full thing. And what's next, Brian?
We are on 87, right below.
So I've had a ride through of Splash Mountain on the site for many, many years, but I went back and completely redid it from ground zero, from the bottom up, completely brand new version, vastly improved, major improvement. And if I do say so myself, I would go as far as say that this is probably the best audio version of this attraction you'll find anywhere. Worked on it for hours and days to perfect it, and it's probably, out of everything on this page, one of the things I'm the most proud of. So be sure to check out my ride through of Splash Mountain. What's next?
Cool. 88 and then 89.
So Splash Mountain Sing Along is just the 3 songs from the attraction, which are How Do You Do, Laughing Place, and Zippity Doodah. So it's those 3 songs. It's not like a ride. See, those songs are included in 87, but this is just the songs, no sound effects, just the songs. And then 89 is like the instrumentals of all the music from the attraction. What's next? 92?
I'm going to talk about 92 through 96.
So Splash Mountain Suite is a lot of fun. It's a little piece of music. I think it was used in a video game. And it's kind of like it's got kind of a techno beat, but it's all the songs from Splash Mountain, so it's kind of fun. And even if you're not into techno, which I'm really not, I still thought it was cute and fun to listen to. It's sort of like it's like a remix of Splash Mountain. Zippity Doodah. Look at the length on this, Brian. Can you see? It's
Yikes.
almost 3 hours. What this is...
That's not gonna be able to listen to this on your commute to work unless you have a crazy
over
commute.
several days, you might. So what this is several dozen versions of Zippity Doodah. It's just all different versions of the song, cover versions, spanning from the 40s to the present. It's got every genre of music you could possibly think of. It's got like Latin, it's got bluegrass, it's got Dixieland, what else? Rock and roll, doo-wop. It's got a lot of famous singers like Doris Day and the Jackson 5 and Debbie Reynolds and a lot of famous people, Satchmo Armstrong. So that's what this is. 3 hours of the song Zippity Doodah in many different versions.
Wow.
So the next
awesome.
one, Splash Mountain in Florida is not in Critter Country, it's in Frontierland. So the area music is more akin to frontier style music. So they've got a completely different background thing, and this is the full background loop for the Splash Mountain area, including a bunch of songs that were recorded but didn't end up getting used. So it's like all the songs that you would hear, plus a bunch others that are sort of were cut at the last minute. And then I have the versions of Splash Mountain at both Walt Disney World and the version in Tokyo. These are a lot shorter and less complex than my Disneyland version, track 87, but these just give you sort of a taste of what the differences are between the 3 different versions of Splash Mountain. There's no Splash Mountain in Paris or in either of the China parks. So what's next, Brian?
Splash
Brain?
Mountain it'll be staying in Tokyo.
That's the only one.
Move to Pooh Corner, 104.
Oh, maybe I have it numbered wrong. What's the name of the track?
Oh, the Pooh Corner area background music. So
Yeah,
it looks like it's your track 105.
The list kind of got jumbled a little bit.
I'll fix that on your list here.
So Pooh Corner area background music is all the songs from Winnie the Pooh that they play when you're in the queue area for the attraction. And believe it or not, it was all arranged and conducted by the original person who did the 60s shorts, Buddy Baker. He came out of retirement, and it's one of the last projects he worked on before he passed away. So it's kind of special, because it's the original composer of the scores came back to do the attraction.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That's great.
So track 106 is the safety spiel with Tigger saying, hold on to your loved ones. Keep your hands and arms inside the honey pot. So that's what that is.
Yeah, I can't do that.
And then 107 is the ride through of the actual attraction. And it's very close to what I already had on the site, but I made some improvements in the audio and cleaned it up a little bit. Do we have anything else that I added, Brian?
Got a couple more. 108, Tokyo Disneyland.
Okay, so Tokyo Disneyland has what's called Pooh's Honey Hunt, which is kind of a much better, more elaborate version of the version in Disneyland.
Super.
And it has a different area music. So I included a portion of the area music. I don't have the whole thing, but I have 10 minutes of it. And the next one is the some of the music you hear inside the attraction. It's sort of a B chorus, like kind of B sounds. And then I have a ride through of the attraction in Tokyo. And then the last thing...
Yeah, I love that.
The last thing, this section represents all the different Pooh things in parks other than in the United States. So the last thing is from Disneyland Paris, and it was a live stage show with the Winnie the Pooh characters.
Oh, yeah. I
called
talked
Winnie
about
the
this
Pooh
on our podcast.
and
Yeah.
his friends too. So this is the full
Winnie
audio.
the Pooh and his friends Pooh too. I mean, what's say?
Okay, Brian, whatever you say. Remember that
I
children's
went
book,
through
We
this
All
whole show
Pooh?
on our... Yeah. Oh, gosh.
So
Go back
this
and
is
listen to our Winnie
actually
the Pooh podcast, and I talk all about this show.
this is actually
It's part
told
2.
in English and in French, because visitors to
Yeah.
Disneyland Paris, they get a lot of English visitors. So a lot of the shows and things will have French and English in them, as does this one. So you can follow along even if you don't speak French, and it's got all the songs
Oh, great.
from the 60s, from the first 2 Pooh shorts. And that's it, Brian. That's everything.
That's all. Yeah.
But
What
let
did
me
we come
just
in at?
let me just give you a little preview of what's to come. After I finished this chapter, I began to work on another chapter, which is called Disneyland Showtime, which is chapter 14.
Oh, yeah. You actually already finished some tracks, I heard.
Yeah, so that chapter is all about live shows in the park. And I tried to, I like to be cute about things. So all of my chapters that are not lands, that are other things, I tried to name them after episodes of the Disney anthology. So I've got Disneyland After Dark, I've got Disneyland Showtime, I've got Holiday Time in Disneyland. So you get the theme I'm going
Clever.
for with that. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's why I call it Disneyland Showtime. But anyway, it's all the live shows, and it's sort of a shorter amount of work because a lot of the chapter is already complete. But I was actually able to get everything edited in 1 week. So everything is edited, and now I'm working on the final cleanup. And I'm not going to add anything until after January 1st. But once January 1st happens, you're going to see a big explosion of new tracks, because I've already got 7 of them ready and done. And I have 25 to go. So there's only 32 tracks on this chapter. A lot of them are redo. But it's a lot less involved. So I'm pretty confident that over the month of January I will be able to finish this chapter. And that will actually only leave 3 more chapters for me to do. So I'm thinking that 2022 is going to be the magic year where I finally get it done. It's taken me, I've been working on it since 2013. So it only took 9 years, but there you go.
Now what? What are you going to do?
I have
California Adventure, or just take a break?
Yes, I'm definitely going to take a break, but I'm going to need a project. I'll go crazy without a project.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I probably
we'll do some podcasting, huh?
I probably will do California Adventure next.
Yeah.
I've been thinking
Maybe we'll
about
have some
that.
time for some extra surprises during the 2022. If you have a little more time on your hands.
Maybe by the end of the year. I still have a lot to do, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So anyway, the last thing I need to say is no thanks for your continued support of Disney Chris, and this is important, .com. Remember the dot.
Right.
Dateline Jiminy Crickets and the Jiminy Crickets podcast. Brian, do you have any final words for today? From a certain
thanks
reverend.
everybody. Yeah, thanks for your support, and we sure appreciate you listening to this. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think of this update. If you have any comments about some of the music or anything you want to ask Chris or me about the audio tour.
We are going to do another mailbag on our next Dateline.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. So if
feedback.
give us some feedback, and we'll read your comment on I would say, what do you think? Maybe the February dateline or something? Is that what you're thinking?
Probably, to give people more time. Because we're probably going to record January's episode just in a couple weeks, so that's probably not enough time. So...
Yeah. We'd love to hear
Show
from
us
you
some
guys.
love for Valentine's Day and send us some,
right.
constructive comments.
Yeah, hit us up. Hit us up in the comment section of this video, or just email Chris or chat us up on Jiminy Cricket's podcast Facebook group.
Yes.
And yeah.
Sooner or later. And
sooner or later,
that's
James Basket's going to be coming around for some of that gooseberry pie.
Oh yeah, I think I might. So anyway, that's the update, and we'll see you in February for a look at Disneyland Showtime, and then the 3 chapters I have left to do are Mickey's Toontown, Frontierland, and the Rivers of America. So let us know what you want me to do next, and I'll take it out of those 3, and I'll take it into... I know what Brian wants me to do next, but we'll take it into consideration, because he's already asked me to do it, but I was like, pick another one. But anyway, I will do it this time if that's what people want. I'm not going to say what it is. You have to guess. So anyway, that's that.
And then you can remind me.
Oh, I'll tell you.
So I don't remember at all what you're talking about.
I'll tell you off air, as they say.
Okay.
So Happy New Year, everybody. I hope 2022 is much better than 2020 or 2021. We had hopes for 2021. Yeah. So those hopes are transferring over, and hopefully this year will be the one that'll be better.
You can only go uphill from here, maybe.
Let's hope and pray that that's true, Brian.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we'll see you all soon.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Ciao. Sayonara. Adios. Arrivederci. Auf Wiedersehen. Good riddance.
Edelweiss. Okay.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye.